hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonics Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
African Oriental Store Africa fii si biir America ñu ngi leen fi amal seasoning ak lépp loo leen nam ma biir Gambia diwtiir ak bagaasi ndekki yi ngeen soxla Can beef African Oriental Store andil na leen ko ci seen heavy boti ba tey it amal nañ leen netetu gerte noflaay yéet ndawal African Oriental Store nag mooy bitik bi nga xam ne lépp loo leen soxla mi ngi ci biir amal nañ leen maalo leket tame inde addi cuuraay waaye it fàttewuñ suñ góor yi nga xam ne ni den tele seen néegi sëy yi African Oriental Store indi na leen garab goo xam ne ni dina leen delloo seen kàttan ba tey it ñu ngi leen amal abaya dàll abaya boo munti xalaat bu jigéen ñu ngi ko fi am waaye it fàttewuñ góor ñi amal nañ leen xaftaan ñi amal nañ toobaan cuuraay African Oriental Store nag bagage yi nii fépp foo nekk si biir Canada bi ak US di nga ko mun a am ndaxte ñu ngi leen amal shipping African Oriental Store Africa si America fii si Everett Washington njaaxare jeex na.
Of the press, Ramadan Kareem, Ramadan Mubarak, welcome to the office of the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the United Democratic Party. I want to start by thanking all of you for coming in this live number after a very, very prompt invitation to be here by midday. The United Democratic Party, under the leadership of Hussein Dabo, continues to believe that sunlight is the best disinfectant, that we have to operate transparently, we have to operate in a way that is accountable to the electorate, to the Gambian people. So this press conference is one in a series. This is the first major press conference in 2021. 2021 is important to the United Democratic Party, and I'm sure it is important to all of you present here. So we will be having monthly press briefings. The Secretary General will have a Q&A with the media fraternity to answer all questions of national importance, to lay across also the party activities and party programs for the 2021 presidential election. We are very pleased that the incident that brought us here, the Secretary General is here ready, available to address all your concerns, all your questions, and again, like I said, you will be getting invitations from our office of the spokesperson to come regularly, either one-on-one with the party leader, party secretary general, presidential candidate, so as to answer any of your concerns, any of your questions as we inch towards December 2021. So on that short note, I want to thank you all for coming, and the Party Secretary General will now lead the press conference. Thank you very much for coming, Secretary General.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, I say to all of you, Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem. So many of us here are fasting, and I pray that Allah the Almighty accepts all your fast and reward you abundantly as I promised. The past 72 hours has really seen, as far as UDP is concerned, a lot of publicity, some very positive and others negative, and others steering the midway. But I think it is important for the Gambian people and indeed the world at large to be informed of the genesis of this incident. Several weeks ago, we took 2 of our vehicles to a mechanic by name Mr. Dabo so that they could be well serviced. Those that need repairs could be repaired, to put them in a state that is very roadworthy, so that the strains, the stresses, and the rigors of traveling around the country can be withstood by these vehicles. And he, of course, I know personally, and since 1996, I know that he has been also a member of our party, and that is why I thought that he should be one that should be entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of our vehicles and looking after our vehicles. I last communicated with him, I believe, on Tuesday, because I thought the vehicles were out for some time, for quite a long time, and whatever work needed to be done should have been completed. And his promise to me was that within the next 2 to 3 days, the vehicles will be delivered to us, overhauled, well-maintained, and repaired. We understand that in the early hours of Saturday, someone who apparently works, I don't know whether it's an apprentice or whatever, in Mr. Dabo's garage, took one of the vehicles. For what purpose, I think he would have to explain. But to understand that he came across a checkpoint and he did not have driving license. And because of that, he got panicked and decided to reverse and run away. He did, but his attempts were frustrated. His attempts to escape was aborted, and he was apprehended. And at the point of apprehension, there was no search of the vehicle. In fact, he was made to disembark from that vehicle and put in a police vehicle. The vehicle that he was driving, the UDP vehicle, was taken charge of by the police, by the security officers, and they drove it to Bundu police station. My understanding is that at Bundu police station, the gentleman's reaction was that, "You never searched me. I did not have any drugs in that vehicle." And the SO, or the CMOS officer then present, said, "Well, this is what Mr. Banja said, you have heard him. Why should you get him disembarked from his vehicle? Why did you not drive with him in his vehicle to the station?" The following day, in fact, one day break, because it was Saturday, a search was conducted on the vehicle. A dog officer in the name of Korta was among people searching, and this officer Banja, Lamin Banja, was also present with the person who was driving the vehicle, who had taken away the vehicle. And when they searched, no drugs were found. In fact, I read in the papers today that they said 3 wraps, but my information was that not a single wrap was found on the vehicle. And when conducted further search, and at the back seat, they found 7 seeds of what is suspected to be the cannabis sativa seeds. And the gentleman insisted to say that he did not put it there, and he was innocent. And I contacted Mr. Dabo and said, look, what has happened to our vehicle? And he was in shock because he did not expect anyone to take the vehicle. In fact, it was the key that was used was not the vehicle's own key. It was not the vehicle's own key. We are not claiming innocence on the part of the gentleman, but he has made his position quite clear that no drug was with him, and there was allegation that there was a third person or another person with him in the vehicle, and that person ran away. Now, if that person ran away, I don't know how that could be drug. Could it not be some other thing other than drug? But pointing out this to say, how could he be driving and someone, jumping out of the vehicle when they were pursuing him in a vehicle virtually bumper to tail? If someone jumped out of the vehicle, one would have expected, with their training, 1 or 2 other officers would also have alighted from their own vehicle and pursue that individual. But none of that has happened. No? We want to say that the UDP has always been against criminality in this country, and more particularly use of substances that are harmful to the individual. In my career as a lawyer, I have refused to defend anybody for drug cases. I've refused it, and all that is to show our revulsion for drugs and drug use. If someone on his frolic uses our vehicle without our knowledge, and you want to pin that on UDP, I think that will be most outrageous. I think that is very ingenious. And of course, I'd like to take a quote from the spokesperson that, notwithstanding that this, political season, those are not the type of tactics that you get involved in. And I want to tell you, gentlemen of the press, that about 3 months ago, I had intelligence report or intelligence information that I should advise Modu Sabali, Ibrahim Adiba, Karafa Sonko, Honorable Saho, Yakumba Jaite, and myself. We should be very careful where we park our vehicles. Even if we take our vehicles to car wash, we must make sure that somebody stays in the vehicle. Because the scheme now is, particularly me, the scheme now is to plant incriminating materials on us. And for Sabali, Diba, Saho, Yakumba, to silence them. and me to disqualify me. So I'm not saying, not accuse anyone, but I'm saying that, and I did caution them, I did advise them. In fact, Carafa, that had gone to the extent of identifying where he parks his vehicles, what time he does it, and what Atayavu he goes to. And when he's at Atayavu, where he puts his vehicle. They had gone all that. I got that intelligence report. You know, and say anything, but there are very decent people in this country who do not want innocent people to be tainted with criminality for the sake of pleasing some other interest. And what is being tried to be done to make these UDP responsible for it, I ask this question. In the past, how many times have army vehicles been used by soldiers carrying bags of cannabis sativa? Was the Gambia Armed Forces held responsible for that? How many times have ambulances been used to ferry drugs using the siren to clear the way and intercepted? Has the Ministry of Health or the hospital where that ambulance service is been held responsible for it? Government vehicles have been used in ferrying drugs in this country. Who has ever held the government responsible for it? Yes, opponents, detractors, would want to pin this on UDP. But there is no amount of distortions of facts. There is no amount of spinning of facts that will change the story. In fact, I think it exposes the security in the way they handle this matter. Why should they take the vehicle away from the chap who was driving it, put him in the police vehicle, and then they drive in their vehicle? And no search was conducted on the spot when the child was apprehended, and indeed the vehicle locked and they took the key away with them until they break. These gentlemen and ladies, we do not want to be engaged in anything other than putting the facts before you, and those who are capable of passing a decent mind test will definitely pass the test. But those who really cannot pass a decent mind test will really go on to condemn UDP and associate UDP with this. And it doesn't bother us. As I say, no amount of distortion, no amount of spinning of facts will really change this. This is being blown out of proportion. 7 seats, as I'm told. And I've mentioned officers who are present, Blamin Banja and Korta. They conducted research, and 7 seats of what is suspected to come from cannabis sativa. Whether it is that or not, we don't even know. We don't even know. You know? But, you know, all these things that is done either on the social media or other medium is just to try to deflate or divert Gambians' attentions from the state of insecurity, how insecure we are in this country. We see what is happening in other places. They want to divert our attention from the rising cost of living and put focus people's mind on this. But they will not succeed. We will continue to talk about the state of security in this country, the rising cost of living, the ineptitude, the incompetence, and the corruption of this government. We will continue to say it. We cannot understand why, even if it's rap, you know, even if it's wrapped, you know, found in a, as they say, as I think I read in, I think in one of the papers, found in a bag, you know. What has UDP got to do with that? This is not an office of the UDP, and in fact, we do not even know him in the UDP. He could be a member, maybe, but we don't even know him. And he had no authority of the UDP to use this vehicle. He was on his own frolic, and you cannot really use that to pin on a UDP. I think what the media should be focusing more on today is the cocaine issue. The 2-ton cocaine issue. You should be concentrated, the media should be concentrated on that. Every week, true to his color, every week I hear Peter Gomez ask questions, or at least questions come, and he says, but look, this is it. What is being done about the cocaine issue? That is what should be engaging the people's minds, and not this so-called UDP, UDP drug matter. I want to say that we expect the security to conduct an unbiased, impartial, and professional investigation to this matter. Forget the UDP as the principal opponent of the administration under which they are serving, and see themselves as servants of the people, serving all people, notwithstanding their differences in their political persuasion. This is what we expect from those officers who are handling this matter. I want to thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for responding to our invitation at a very short notice in order to clarify, in order to put forward to you the facts as we know it. And these facts, as I've said, they are incontrovertible, and we have gone to name 2 senior officers in the law enforcement areas, mainly Banja and Carter. We would not dare do that if we do not have evidence, if we do not believe in the accuracy of that statement. Our people, since Saturday morning, have been with the security step by step on this matter. Wherever they move, our people move with them. So we are not making any stories. These are first-hand information that we have. But I thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Identify yourself.
Before the Q&A, the procedure is that you identify your media.
My concern is not the allegation or the propaganda that is currently on social media. The area that I want to concentrate, which is a question, is how on earth was it possible for this person or those guys use as the eastern people of the United Democratic Party? That's my point. Because I see you as a very responsible man. So when I was coming to this press conference, Dr. Jan, Dr. Jan sent me the invitation yesterday night. So I asked myself, but why should those people have access to the people? Because the people is what people are now talking about. It's from where? It's from UDP. So if the case is going to be the court case, I'm not framed for it. I know you are a legal personnel, but just arrest this matter as soon as possible. But they will use the people as an exit. And that's where they are concerned. UDP pick up was, you know what I mean? That's my first question. I don't want to go so long. The second question is, your intervention on the side of the block, the cocaine issue, that was a very fair play. That is something that the media should concentrate. Because this one just came right now. But the cocaine was there. And it seems that it is dying and then we are not talking about it. That we should press that one. Jambi State is worth 1 point something billion. We talked about it. This one is over that. So we should press. When we press it, we should press it. I concur with it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let me answer it. Yes. You see, I think I've told you the genesis of this incident. We had taken 2 vehicles to the garage for maintenance and overhauling. It was under the control of the garage owner. So it was no longer under the control of UDP. It's not that the vehicle was here in my premises here and taken away. Then we'll be asked. It's under UDP's control. But this is absolutely under the control of the mechanic in charge. So the mechanic, and let me say the mechanic himself was shocked because what he told me is that, they had finished with the mechanical work. So it was the electrical work, and probably this was the electrician who took the vehicle, maybe even unbeknown to the mechanic. So no one can blame UDP for really not exercising control, for being negligent. What you said, I agree with you, Papa, I agree with you. You see, it's a strategy, it's all part of their ploy to make sure that our vehicles are grounded so that we cannot go on our political activities the way we want to with the aid of our vehicles. That is why they want to plant on Mount Sabali so that the vehicles 2021 can be grounded. That's why they want to Karfa so that his vehicle can be grounded. Ibrahim Adiba, myself. That is deployed. That is all deployed. And I'm not sure, I think the lawyers will have to argue that, I'm not sure whether the vehicle can be used as an exhibit. I have not seen any vehicle being used as an exhibit. When they arrested the government vehicles, people carrying cannabis in the government vehicles, the cannabis was what was used as exhibit. They never used the vehicles as exhibit. Maybe they might try it this time, first time. You never know. It could be. You never know. They probably might want to do it this time. Yeah.
Second question is from a lady. Yeah?
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Maria. I work in Supersonics. When you were mentioning the fact, you did mention that the security, so the police should have searched the people before getting the guy into their own vehicle. And then, yes, that is what you mentioned. So I was asking, are you concluding that maybe the police, it's just a question, maybe the police have a hand in this, or in fact maybe the mechanic that gave the vehicle also have a hand in this, because you really mentioned that if at all this is something that is really straightforward, or there is something that is carried in a professional manner, the police should have searched the vehicle instantly instead of taking the guy in their vehicle and leaving this one behind, in fact putting the key with them. So is there anything you're trying to tell us there? Thank you very much.
Well, I have told you those facts so that, I don't want to draw any conclusions. I want the reasonable people to draw their own conclusion. Was it right for them to get this gentleman off the vehicle, put him in the police vehicle, and they take charge of the police vehicle, of the UDP vehicle, and drive it to Bundu Station? And in the light of what I have told you, that the intelligence report we had, that myself, Sabali, Diba, Sonko, Honorable Saho, Yakumba, we should be careful because it's intended to plant drugs on us. I mean, what could a reasonable person conclude? This was planted. This was planted. Why did you let the man out of his vehicle? He should have driven with him in his vehicle. Go to him and conduct, if you don't need on the spot, on arriving at the police station, conduct the side there in his presence. That's what should have been. But I leave it to you people to draw your conclusions from it. Yeah.
That question goes to a lady also.
Gender bias.
We have to be gender biased. We have the national president and the deputy party leader here. So.
Assalamu alaikum. Actually, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first one is for covering import of the public.
But remain for introduce for it.
Okay. So I can say, and I work with Gambian talent. Yes. No first question of economic well I need to put. Nigeria for covering import of the honey most the social media and in Hanina community to give a open. At times, the first time, we never can answer last time to Nana for this investigation of Salobari Nana and Nana, but very expensive to be negative over this. We never can pursue last time. And the other question is, Nana Panafo, police or Nikani covering operation of Sanika. Zero crime operation and automatic. Nigeria for me published like some published when you put your phone in the world broken. Before they published in the world yard. But in Nigeria for this time around, yeah, particularly in a motor published. It has something behind it. So yeah, to get a other activities are limited and theater. So it looks like outside and it's generally one direction.
Baraka Bake, ila nyininkar follow about police all police all investigation. Yeah. Nambe kalan law nyati jeto. Well, obebe depend la ila conclusion ole kam. So panga memfo ngayilla memma o ngamenji ko ngamenyanta kala. Olon police olu ibela do ko kala nyamale ite fasar kala jeto to nya damma ibole fasala jeto men jeta wayke wayfo ko nga fo nyame kese saba ko kulu saba ido sobita kafo ko abota cannabis lebara fo ke solo fo cannabis ke sol lamba fo nyo ke sol lamba fo mun ke sol lamba mo malon ya wa bari ibafo kanyame e camera kafo ko moto be farin jambalale eda hani yemen safe kayto fanto itale men safe kayto e ko 3 raps saba wala safe kayto bari kafo nyame e camera kafo ko mbama de tono le tatata ni moto kono bari moto ni la nyini kar fulanyang moto ni me yadna yaga sinyi lon kafo ko ibe political la amanke femfinata amanke political yaji ke kavo ko nyine be UDP toti nyano la nyine be UDP la darajo nyine ba jindila wala yatinna ye kuke de mandal la menkela e kamotol ni articles of crime ke mutajane e kamotol ni cannabis mutajane badi kamotol natal ko memfo ye mel muta ye fengal mel muta e kol damma ne fenke bar niaje e be nyinke ka e ko be political la pour UDP ka totinya ka UDP darajo dindi adon ko ngam memfo yama ko nilu isata ya tinya nyaawo nyama ya jaw yandi nyaawo nyama wota kala wota kala kafa ko UDP UDP responsible ala nganyim foye but in fact ila an question de ansa wolula wasuto na dinding kende on at least ngamera na dinding kende but unfortunately by the political and I wouldn't spare things. Musa Suso at the station of the Ulu that night on this matter. So ila machinations they started right there. Musa Suso at Law Benna, he cannot deny it. Police officers were there, they cannot deny it. Why would he go there? Adunga nyinjele kava kone UDP incidents katadro NPP la mo kumal ekara police. It happened with Yakumba. Frank Tata, Seumbala Tata. What doesn't happen? To give it a political coloration. But in nothing that this is a good weapon in their fight against UDP politically. So, Motola Natalo Nying, Foka UDP to see the mall that Romovi Mafla UDP. Dolbany Mafola, Dolbaja Mafola, Barany Mafola, what is Sata Jamafola? I can tell you that.
Yes, gentlemen.
Yes. I am Adam Martin from the Point Newspaper. Considering the fact that UDP, in my personal opinion, is not only a democratic party, but noble and professional. Do we have a mechanism already set or stationed to avoid a situation of this nature in the near future?
Yeah. In fact, even before this incident happened, I was approached by professional, well, this gentleman is also a professional mechanic, but established garage owners to discuss with me the handling and maintenance of our vehicles. In fact, on Thursday, I spoke to one of them, and my appointment with him today is at 11 o'clock. I don't know whether he's outside waiting. When my appointment with him is today. We see and discuss these things. And I've also been contacted by another well-established garage so that we discuss this issue of manufacturing of our vehicles. My personal vehicle goes to that particular garage for maintenance. But this is a party vehicle. I didn't want to take a decision on that without really consulting with the relevant people in the party who could reach at that decision. But certainly, we are taking that measure, to ensure that nothing happens like that in the future. But again, you can only take that to such measures when you take the vehicles to a garage for maintenance. You park your vehicle like in an area or in a home where there are several tenants. What precautions? Because it's sometimes difficult. Because other tenants in the place would go in and out, and other people come in and out on the pretext of visiting other tenants in the place. So all that we have to do is just to be vigilant and extra careful. And I think this is a wake-up call for all of us.
Any lady want to ask a question? we have to be balanced here.
My name is Becky Jaro and I work for iAfrica TV. My first question is, who do you think is responsible for what is happening right now with regards to plotting and everything that has been said? And secondly, also, we've seen in the police report what they wrote yesterday on social media saying that suspected cannabis were found in the vehicle. And you said it wasn't, like like you said. So how is this? Because it's contradictory.
Well, no, I think the contradictions. I'm not sure. They have put forward their version. We have put forward our version. And certainly we believe in the credibility of our version. That is why we have gone to the extent of naming officers that are present, and gone to the extent of saying how the operation went about. So if there are contradictions, we leave it to people with unbiased minds to really reach a conclusion. And who should be held responsible, I don't think that will be for me to say. I think the investigations should really point at the person or at the individual who is responsible. But what I just want to say is that you can spin, can do everything, but UDP is not in this at all, because what they are using, the use of the vehicle, that is why I said when the Gambia Armed Forces vehicles was used, why didn't you say that the Gambia Armed Forces is responsible for this? Government vehicles, why is the government not held responsible? That government was trafficking in drugs because their vehicle was used. In fact, in those cases, by their employees. And in our case, in this particular, the person is not our employee. We didn't even take the vehicle to him. We took the vehicle to Mr. Dabo, and Mr. Dabo was not the one who was driving the vehicle. If Mr. Dabo had been driving, of course, well, you had given him the vehicle, he has the authority to drive that vehicle. That is not even the case with us. So my point is that, you cannot put this on UDP if you fail to hold the government or institutions in the past whose employees we have found carrying cannabis in their vehicles. Yeah. Yes, madam. Sorry, let me give the lady. I'll come back to her. No, give it. After the lady, I think he'll come to the gentleman there. Okay, second time. Second time.
He has the mic.
Okay, sorry. We apologize for that.
I overrule you guys.
We apologize. For the
issue of the drug, criticizing the government.
The cocaine drug.
Yes, for the issue of the cocaine drug that you are mentioning here. And now people are using this issue of the UDP against you. Do you think this will affect UDP's hand in trying to criticize the government in any drug case or any drug issue? Thank you. In the membership.
Well, thank you. I think that's what the people who are not capable of rationalizing things, properly, that is what will be their conclusion. Having heard the facts as narrated by me, you will say that, look, these things were planted. That would be a conclusion. And the two are incomparable. You see, the cocaine has an international dimension. It has an international dimension, and its destructive nature is far worse than even if it was true, the 3 raps. Far more than that. This was cocaine to commercialized, to sell, to destroy not only the lives of people in the Gambia, but in other parts of the world. And since the interception of that cocaine, those drugs, nothing serious has been done to prosecute it. And then you start questioning, how did Mr. Banta Keita, how did he escape? With a vigilant security force. And when I say vigilant, I'm not confining this only to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency, but even their sister institution, the SIS, which I understand has the ability of really gathering information and then tracking people down. How could it escape them? And with this what that look, this is the government complicit, and I want to agree, and I did say so earlier on in one of my interventions, and I agree with Council Boriture at the TRRC that this quantity of drugs, those type of drugs, cannot come into any country without the government knowing anything about it, because they would have done the preparatory work before they will come. They just don't come here, unprepared. They would have done all the things they need to do, get the necessary contacts, and then bring the drugs in. That cannot have the intelligence operatives in this country could not have failed to really know that since the drug left its port of departure, they ought to have been traced. They should have. So to really compare that with this what they call 3 raps, I think yes, people who are really have prejudiced mind against UDP will definitely say so. Definitely. So and certainly it's not going to affect the popularity of the United Democratic Party. It's not going to affect the chances of the United Democratic Party. They wish it could, but it's not going to, because the Gambian people know the schemings of governments against the UDP. I've told you, why would Musa Suso go to the go there? Go to the police. Why? Deputy Governor of West Coast Region, a few days ago he saw him organizing former APRC NAMs to join, and then to make sure that Barrow is elected. So for him and others like him, anything that will diminish UDP's chances would be their mission. So, but we are not bothered. Thank you. Is someone who that was it? This gentleman. I think this gentleman here. No, I think the blind in black.
Gentleman in black.
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Uncle Janko. I work for the
Uncle Janko. Yeah.
Sir, looking at after listening to your Genesis, it's quite, seems like it's not calculated enough, because if I understand you said the key to the car wasn't even used. It means a different key was used for the car. I just want to hear from you officially. Do you think it is premeditated? Let's say it is staged. Bearing in mind that election years we do see so many things happening. Is this really staged against UDP?
Well, you see, as I say, I do not want to make any conclusions. We have stated the facts, and we want reasonable people to make their conclusions, to draw their conclusions from it. Yeah? Really, in the first place, at that hour of the night, why would, if it was during the day, you may understand. But that late night, why would anybody use that vehicle? Why not another vehicle in the garage? Why that vehicle? Why not another vehicle in the garage? You know, so we leave it to people to draw their conclusions. As I say, investigations are going on, and which we expect to be impartial, unbiased, and professional. So we want to wait for the outcome of the investigation, and of course, if it goes beyond the investigation, yeah, then we can go. Then we can go and really defend the image and reputation of our party. Yeah. No, I think there are two gentlemen over there. And motol be mel bulu pe yamar la men wolong be sak hakil tuoti kana hakil tuoti damang par hani be mel bulan la ni me long isi hakloto kadu ko fensi tare bulle me yalon kafako luwa man song moya muta oda si hakloto to motorcycle volta sono ya ba mala motorcycle fanna tarade ibe itata mitin la ya pak bari suto jama ke la motorcycle dundu ila bungul la kono woto wolu pour ka ko ke wala be kole yala o ko la fana fente motorcycle wol bala me yalon ka ko si fen sekiage bala jeto pour asinupun mota jala wasi kole ya barakata nyawonya hakil tuwal tuta mbema kew hana man ke UDP fi ko zanda ani UDP non officials nyodo ila motolu be nyantale ngan haklo to kadu ko men kata ten asikeno na motol la wala na jabiro ande ya police muso men na ko foten well ndefam fala woto malo fo police olombang fo kadu ko joint operation lomo fo police olombang fo immigration olombang fo SAS lombang fo soldier olombang malo par aketa security sector dokulate ngamira ila nyaton kolu yalo ko moyle oto etel nyantale maybe nyanta menkala isa ke malla fi fanan ka ajay lota kala ala do kudla kam moma yalon ka ko delinquent officer ma yalon ka fo abe san frenyela wala manya kuru etafula ka ko ala do kudla abwake kan wala tola o ya sanction tafula ka ko the Department of Immigration, police, army, or whatever security outfit as he belongs to, the actions of the that delinquent officer must have to hold them responsible for that. If the head of the institution makes that statement, we'll come down that path very heavily, but not in moment, really. And them from Batan la wala kuala. Yeah. Yeah.
I would like to ask the fact that we are election here, and if this incident happens to be politically motivated, will you be disappointed by the actions of the police? And also, are there efforts to recover the people that have been founded and are free? You did mention here earlier that usually when the police, apprehend suspects, they screen them. And this is relative to cannabis, but here we don't see them following the cannabis, but rather, they are following the people. Are you also disappointed with this? And what is going to be your final advice to them? Because we are in a very critical time. There are a few months before election, and then if this trend continues, I hope it will affect the democratic process towards the election. Thank you very much.
Well, first question whether this is in an election year, whether this is not going to affect us. I think that was a question. That may be politically motivated.
This was politically motivated.
Yes. No, if it is if it is politically motivated, I will not be disappointed, because I know that desperate people take to desperate actions in order to survive. So really, I wouldn't be disappointed, although I think it will be very shameful. It will be very shameful. But then I hope that it will remain shameful. But I want to also add that when it's known to be politically motivated action, that will make the Gambian people and all reasonable person to despise those who are behind these very scandalous efforts to demonize and put UDP in bad light. It makes people despise them, and even people who work with them, whether it's in the security forces or even if they are doing it on behalf of a political party, some members of that political party will definitely despise such a move, because people want to have free and fair elections. And to have a free and fair elections in this place, everything should be above board. Everything should really be above board. Your second question was? Well, no, I mean, you said the police are just showing the vehicle. We want to wait until the end of the investigations before we say anything about that. And we can tell you that, we'll put together a team of lawyers to be on the standby for us, not for the person, but for our vehicle. You did mention that they are showing the vehicle. I'm not sure what I saw in the papers and in social media, whether it was the police that actually took photograph of the vehicle and put it either on the social media, or at least I saw it on Standard newspaper. It could very well be the reporter of Standard newspaper who went to the police station, took a snap of the vehicle and put and have it there. So I don't want to blame the police for that, because I do not know who really was responsible for putting out the image, the photograph of the vehicle in any media outlet, be it Standard or any other newspaper. But for sure, for NPP, it was the NPP people who really, the Mbaro media, it was them who really did it. Yeah, that I can tell you.
Kamaraba.
Yeah.
Kamaraba.
Yeah.
Then we are talking about gender parity, but you cannot ask all the questions.
Maybe after this gentleman. Maybe after this gentleman.
I'm Kamara from Kamara Isha, and legal money account. I am more affected by the money the work from this. I actually support them. Following they implant it in Katio, and I don't know where it cannot belong. They are participating. The minute come the devil go to the moon, the company. Moment in the language, you be called, you take a little bit. Tell them kujan ni masa kena kereta apa ni kau pelanjang motor ni dia lalu apa lori bundu polis kesal dan ni kontestan itu certain amount of drugs maybe new traffic na hoko what is starting I don't know aku yang tight so da mani aku kalau dikir ni kon kalau motor bundu jiba so sabanya ni yang long ali long ko sambagi fo ala motor be ni moya fo mira bi jere ba kewal samba kito la bam ko de diran ti ada dala mo di moy la ko do ko ke ko present tembo ila mo la fa pe ni sa
Okay, ko kamol haklo sabatindi dan simen fono dan wolon yudi pinkolu albala do ko menna al kontina ko do ko kedama odon nam ko modin simen fale al signul lom fanan ka fuko hanatra allora ko ye drogolu yama ye boto tang yole star nyamoto kono woto usen dabo balno la lola kadu ko mamuta usen dabo budo so wo nimme yo mi rafana ngamira hanibide ibe ko molela bari la ko mo ni maye mutaje to follow ko mo ni ka ko usen da fast do lola you know and about the quantity of the drug mayal ka should warrant moto nyam pour ka impound wo man left ka fen photo le nga fole kon left ka ambe nap team of lawyers put la together wollu lebo jube la ka man left ka kuma fo janto mayal ka ko ni na lawyer la ko man ta ko cliente now ko na moto be mel bulu foke samba kitio la well wo lawyer le ba fono la nya fo sila bem bulu le against them ka du kon ta ko ka ko be samba la kitio la wayata really iman sila soto against them kadngal nga di menna moto di menna womu Mr. Daboleti Buba Dabo yama par Buba Dabo mamoto nya masamba fo me moto nyi samba fo Buba Dabo le authorized bank fo ma authorized bank kadu kutentel ni wakte ma me moto nyi samba kutentel ni wakte ma but again na loyal le bentel advice la wala natra anyanta sitaki to wala ban hannata fana an sitano kito lale adoba te ben yam ifesin yamar onyindo ajare talba leta kito laba bani election yamen to konate for imari ila attention imanya na focus da on something else la than ning yeah so bara bebe depend on the lawyers nel advice la men I think that's it.
What I want to ask is, has the UDP set an eye, like physical contact, and the search of because according to the police Facebook page, it has not been said that can see, but can. And clearly there, the picture that we will be saying that it's exactly, it's clearly a police Facebook page. You know, so what I want to come back to, has the UDP question I want to guess. If yes, what exactly did they get? Is it the drug? Oh, is it the weed or weed tea? Because it has been said that 3 bundles of cannabis, according to social media reports. So can you just clarify that?
Well, according to social media reports, that is their version. And according to the police, they say, is that official police speech? Is that police-o?
Yes, police.
Police-o? And what I saw written, you think the police will write that? UDP has been charged to court, pleaded not guilty. Is that what?
No, I mean the big.
No. But what was?
Yeah, they say suspected cannabis.
Okay. Yes.
Yes. So I want to know if it's actually the cannabis. Have you seen the cannabis or cannabis?
Well. I'm not sure whether when the definition of cannabis, whether it's just limited to the leaves, or it even covers the roots and the seeds. Yeah? I'm not sure whether it's just the leaves. Does it cover the branches? Does it cover the seeds? Does it cover the roots? Again, these are legal things that we want to leave. We want to leave to our lawyer. But I have told you that our people were with them step to step at the Bundu police station. And there's no doubt that what was discovered were seeds. That was what discovered. If seeds were not discovered, and we wanted just to make the gentleman look good, we said nothing was discovered. But the truth is that is what, and the gentleman even protested that, look, he did not put it there. They cannot put it on, he protested. And Mark Ijeto, he protested. Because the way I was told that the research went on, if you look for seeds, you don't find it on the floor, and then you go on the back seat, trying to see what is at the back seat. Probably know where to find the stuff. Madam, can we give the other gentleman a chance, and then you'll come on. Eh?
Yeah.
After that. What is it? It is jihad.
It is better.
Okay, security used against innocent people in so many areas. So nada de for saying Kumiro Nata to Kankari for Yetu for the Butala. What we mean and Kido because I couldn't pick from also no UDP man. Because Munea Sabu Kido Kumakamana and Yami, among the journalists, among the police PR. But I would have one immigration officer who they come here as a system. So, and Kabili Jiman Sakudana, who follow, ye mean follow, even when more baby for is on the world security sector reform. But the security sector reform one Raketa, because not Raketa, to know a Yimusun be a Kamkulano directly at the Aponami and Aponia Aponami, killing at the Aponami, one year before. UDP la moto ifele drop jama muta wala kono and alfero kale ni audio ki by to live so de la premier donna nalo ne ko UDP la man sekundale bi be ko address la ko UDP is the best opposition party say ninga irresponsibility a minkete as a police officer albe mune simpanya de tala wo ko anyo sedam because that alone the government in waiting near Ramosa or the money.
Yes. Namira modern question something like this. Namira do yani nin kajane. But na memfo walong ni officer ni malo abe formation jumalto. But ala head wayalo kumol moy. So alimbe nga si nga jube ala head of department be mun disciplinary action letala against her. Ning sita fotil tanyong mon kuma moy o yo fem public ka ko na office ay menke yama nga nyung kulore la ka dan watumo sinana juwe menyanta kala bari na mem yalla man la ko nilu nyin ko nyin naja ya tate ba hawla ilafta mol la nyinandila ko mem fotel lack of security member Bangkok ilafta mol la nyinande wala feng la dakuya marché auto balu wala kolea ilafta mol la nyinande wala kurang la soto balia bi ni mobe diam kamansa konko akonya ko na janto jiti janto kuranti janto kandiya be mol fala ilafta mol nyinande la wala kafa ko UDP bari ilo kata kol be abe kala zero di kadi to item gambian kolu kunin talisai yalo ne kafa ko mote I haklo nyami nola ke haklo bondu kuka memu tele everyday problem mote yama ni ko fana ko be UDP di register la well elections act même fo indi hawol ibe dal la ko di la de dalila koyo ibole di la adun ngaji ko dalilo me kala men wono nyimme ko ke UDP la abula la bang knowledge ke so the registration man fenke but let us assume ka ko keta wala usen da balla lola ba asan independent candidate nin lo da san independent candidate o UDP mel be from corner to Kato e be bula na usen da wol no I think that is it somebody over there.
Yeah. Yes, gentlemen.
And then maybe you can give the lady.
Yeah, the lady will have the last question. I think we've been here long enough and most of your questions have been answered.
Good afternoon. My name is Paulsman Nabo. I'm a newspaper from the United States. My question is about the follow-up of what Mr. Sonko asked about the lady. Because, when she was, commenting for people to share on the social media, he was like very happy and jubilant. And it could be possible that I stand to be corrected, but it could be possible that it's support of the United Democratic Party. Don't you think that the immigration department or the joint police services to do something about it since they have a PR? Number two, you spoke about Mr. Suso organizing the former members of the National Assembly, APRC, to join together in force to support the borough, the NPP. What is your stand, the UDP stand, on the issue of Mr. Suso occupying a public office when he has already been convicted of drug peddling?
Well, the lady who identified herself as Aisat Sise, as I've said, the Director General of Immigration, because she's alleged to be part of that security outfit, has heard her statements, has seen and heard how relish she was in making that statement. Very happy, very jubilant. Really betraying her lack of professionalism. It is left to the Director General of Immigration to really take the appropriate action. Whether such individuals, such delinquent persons who are dragging the reputation of that department into the gutters, whether it should be retained in that office, showing political bias for security. So anyone who belongs to UDP and comes into contact with that lady on a security-related matter, you can be sure that will not get any fair treatment. You can be sure of that. So it's left for the Director General. And we are not going to say anything until, as I have told Mr. Boja, until after 10 days, we see what action has been taken. Now, for Mr. Suso, I think I want to be very generous to him. I think when he last served his sentence, it's more than 5 years, and I think more than 5 or 10 years. So I believe even as a member of National Assembly, probably he could contest. I'm not too sure, but I think so, because of the lapse of time, But the cardinal thing as far as he's concerned is that he is holder of a public office, official office, deputy governor, responsible for the biggest region in this country with diverse political persuasions. So he should not be seen to be really advocating for the election of any political leader or the re-election of Adama Barrow. At the Public Service Commission, I think, should really take the appropriate step. And I believe the chairman of the Public Service Commission is a very principled person, very decent, very honest. Anything really tainting the integrity and the image of the public service, I think he'll do something about it. So we throw the ball into their court. For the lady, we throw the ball into the court of the Director General, and for Mr. Suso, we throw the ball into the Chairman Public Service Commission's court. Let's see what they do.
The lady will have the last question.
I want to make a follow-up of what you made mention that in the past we have ambulances and security vehicles when you convey drugs. Can you cite an example? And the other question I have is, did you receive any letter, official letter from the IGP or drug enforcement agency with regards to this issue right now?
Well, I don't know when I say Madam Fat Kamara Junior. I don't know whose Junior Fat Kamara you are. But your boss. Oh, well, that's why, He said you are too young to know these things. I did not have to get a letter from any security agency, whether drug law enforcement or the Inspector General of Police. These things were published in the papers. Everybody knows them. Published in the papers, and people are prosecuted and convicted. So it's not a question of trying to say something, because it pleases me. But this is factual, and probably if you talk to Fat Kamara Senior, she'll tell you that this had happened here in the past. Ambulances, using the siren, army trucks, government vehicles. Yes, so it has happened. It's not a made-up story. People here, much older, they know these things. Yes. Yeah. Well, they are so long at the time that, but I know that ambulances have been used, and nobody can dispute that. Army trucks have been used, nobody can dispute that. Government vehicles have been used, nobody can dispute that. If you have to go to the archives, you will see them. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I really think I should thank you. The party leader has given you 1.5 hours of the Monday. This is a very busy day. And like I said also, we will be having regular interaction with the press. We believe in absolute transparency. We are accountable to the Gambian people as a political party. And whenever events and issues arise where we need to give our version of those events, we will come out and, in a no-holds-bar way. There is no filter, there is no editing. Usainu Dabo will answer your questions directly, one-on-one. It's not that some spokesperson will come and read a statement. So really, we want to thank you profoundly that the next series of press briefings will be specifically on the party's agenda for 2021. each and every policy area that we have been working on over these last 3-4 months will be the subject of discussion. So we want you also, as our partners, the media, to come prepared to do the necessary research so that we would feel that the work we are doing, we are not doing it just for our own edification. So again, thank you very much for taking the time and for joining the Secretary General and the presidential candidate of the UDP in clarifying this matter. Thank you. Alnimbara Jerejenjef. I'm sure we will see again very soon. Jarama.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonics Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonics Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
African Oriental Store Africa fii si biir America ñu ngi leen fi amal seasoning ak lépp loo leen nam ma biir Gambia diwtiir ak bagaasi ndekki yi ngeen soxla can beef African Oriental Store andil na leen ko ci seen heavy boti ba tey it amal nañ leen netetu gerte noflaay yéet ndawal African Oriental Store nag mooy bitik bi nga xam ne lépp loo leen soxla mi ngi ci biir amal nañ leen maalo leket tame inde addi cuuraay waaye it fàttewuñ suñ góor yi nga xam ne ni den tele seen néegi sëy yi African Oriental Store indi na leen garab goo xam ne ni dina leen delloo seen kàttan ba tey it ñu ngi leen amal abaya dàll abaya boo munti xalaat bu jigéen ñu ngi ko fi am waaye it fàttewuñ góor ñi amal nañ leen xaftaan ñi amal nañ toobaan cuuraay African Oriental Store nag bagage yi nii fépp foo nekk si biir Canada bi ak US di nga ko mun a am ndaxte ñu ngi leen amal shipping African Oriental Store Africa si America fii si Everett Washington njaaxare jeex na